Mark Brewer is the chairman of the Michigan Democratic Party. We haven't talked to him in a while, so we're going to reconnect here straight ahead of State Representative Chuck Moss from the Appropriations Committee. And Mr. Brewer, good morning to you.
Morning, Michael Patrick.
Everybody keeps talking about ways to save money and ways to streamline. In fact, in Washington, D.C. today, there's going to be another one of those talks about how maybe, we can deficit reduction and, get some savings going here. You came up with a novel idea that I read about in MERS News.
Well, not actually so novel because we've done it before. But, yeah, Michael Patrick, there's a bipartisan way that the parties together, the Democratic and Republican parties, can save the taxpayers of Michigan $10 million, which could be applied to saving a lot of jobs, a lot of teachers and firefighters in this state, and that would be by canceling the presidential primary. And we asked the Republicans to work with us to do that yesterday. We've done this before. We did it in 2004, saved a lot of money, and other states, similar agreements are being reached between the Democratic and Republican parties to cancel those primaries and save that money.
Well, President Obama is going unchallenged, so far as I know, and the Republicans. So, what happens to the Republican? I mean, who gets the delegates from Michigan in their count?
Well, what both parties would do, as we did in 2004, when they were in the same position we were in, they had George Bush as president, and there was no challenge. Both parties hold what are called caucuses, which are party-run elections, party-paid-for elections, and people vote all around the state, and that's how the delegates are selected. But it's done at the expense of the two political parties, not at the expense of the taxpayers.
Do the candidates still come in and campaign in that case on the Republican side when there's a caucus? I guess they do.
Oh,
they
sure.
do it in Iowa,
yeah.
right?
And they will in these other states as well. So we'll see campaign activity and fundraising, all those other kinds of things. But again, the elections are conducted by the two parties rather than the state saving $10 million.
Did you get any feedback from the Republicans when you suggested it yesterday?
I've not heard anything officially back yet, but again, we're hoping that this could be an example of bipartisan cooperation where everybody can win, particularly the taxpayers.
What happens to the Republican race to go up against Debbie Stabenow then? How do they pick? Is it the same way, the caucus system?
No, that's at the regular August primary next August, where there's primary races for a lot of different races at that time. The presidential primary is scheduled for
March or something.
February.
And
that's the only thing on the ballot.
Oh, I gotcha.
So
okay.
That's why it makes sense to cancel that, save all this money, and let the two parties handle the expense themselves.
Okay, I guess there would be people who would say, wait a minute, I want to go out and cast my vote for Obama again, or I want to go out and cast my vote for Mitt Romney, and they would feel a little sort of disenfranchised, wouldn't they?
No, not at all, because, again, we welcome them to come participate in our caucuses.
Oh, just a different way of doing it.
Independent voters, even Republicans, are welcome to participate in our caucuses.
But it's a little more complicated to be involved in a caucus than to go and throw the lever, right?
Not really. I mean, we'll publicize all the sites around the state where people can come in. It's actually more convenient because we do it on a Saturday, so you don't have to cut into your work day by going to the election polling place on a Tuesday.
Yeah, but you have to be there a while, don't you?
Sorry?
You have to be there a while, don't you?
No, not the way our system works. You come in, and the meeting will be called to order, and people will vote promptly. And again, Michael Patrick, we've done this before. It worked very well for both parties back in 2004. So this is not novel. It's been done before. It's being done in other states, and we say, why not do it here in Michigan?
Okay, let's just ask right now then, Mr. Brewer, State Representative Chuck Moss, the Republican from Birmingham. Good morning to you.
Well, good morning, Michael Patrick.
What do you think of that idea?
Well, I think that's very nice, Mr. Brewer, to save money by canceling the Republican primary. They don't have to worry about it because President Obama is already there. And you think with primaries, with party caucuses, the party caucuses that I've seen do take all day. You have to, and so, I do know that it would save money to not have elections, but I'm sorry, that's kind of the system.
We were talking earlier with State Representative Frank Foster and Wayne Schmidt, and they said that there was a lot of work left to be done this week in closing out the budget, more than just maybe crossing T's and dotting I's. Any surprises on the horizon?
Oh, no. I mean, we've got a lot of hills to march over before we get it done on on hopefully Thursday or Friday. But it's mainly just finding little fires that come up, and you just put them out and keep moving forward. And we're still on track. We're still on track to get her done by June 1.
Mountains or molehills?
Oh, molehills, molehills. But to the people involved, they're mountains. But there's nothing you can't kind of get people to talk down and work out. You'll find one thing or this thing or that thing, and the thing that's important. But bottom line, as long as we keep the goal in mind and keep marching forward, we're going to get there.
Looks to me like the teachers are still rallying, still upset about the $100 per pupil cut that they're going to end up with after the initial specter of a $435, something like that. Any response?
Well, I don't blame them. That's their right to petition the government for redress of grievances in the Constitution and all. But everybody in the state of Michigan and now in the government is going to have to more quality with less. And that includes K-12. And the teachers, the K-12 can't just keep eating while everyone else starves. And that's legacy costs and all. A lot of school districts are like General Motors all over again. And all those rallies aren't going to put a single more dime in the public coffers.
All right, thank you very much. Travel safely on your way here from Birmingham into the capital city. That's State Representative Chuck Moss, the Republican from the Appropriations Committee. Next hour, Ann Doyle will join us. We'll talk about the Sarah Palin tell-all book and Arnold Schwarzenegger's divorce. We'll go live to Mackinac Island and check in with Lincoln on this day that Chrysler will fully pay back the United States government. Stay tuned for all of that. If you're watching on television, we'll see you tomorrow. And we're going to get the sports story before you go, though, so stay tuned right there. It's Michael Patrick Shields in the AmericanMetalRoofs.com studio in the Gillespie Group Stadium District building on your Tuesday.